Hello guys, this review is going to be on two pairs of headphones that are very popular right now. The first one is the Beats Studio 3 Wireless, and this one is in the Midnight Black Edition. And the second one is the Sony WH-1000X M3. Okay, so first of all, the first part of this review is going to be looking at the packaging. So here they are. Okay, one is clearly geared more towards style, and the other one more towards substance, I think, with the What Hi-Fi 5-star review and stuff. So I'm going to start by unpacking the Beats headphones. As you can see, the marketing has already started. And here is the case that you'll be using to carry these headphones around with. And here are the headphones themselves. Okay, so as you can see, it's in the midnight black color, some gold accents there, like a tan sort of headband there, with some fake leather pads which are kind of soft. So now I'm going to move on to the Sony. The box itself is already a lot thinner than the Beats one, as you can see. And here is the case that you get with the Sony. Little pocket there. Compared to the Beats. The Beats is a little bit smaller in terms of height and width, but if you look at the thickness, the Sony is a lot thinner. And that is because of the way that the hinge works on the Sony headphones. As you can see, accessories included inside the case. In this one with the Beats, it's actually inside the box itself. But as you can see, if you look at the Sonys, they fold in various different directions. So they fold in and out like that, and also like this. Okay, and that way they're a lot more space efficient than the Beats. Okay, the Beats, they only fold like this, and that's all you get. Okay, so for some people that's important, for others not so important. That's really up to you. Okay, so which of these two headphones are better in terms of the features that are on offer? Well, I'm going to tell you now, it's easily going to be the Sony, because I mean, this headphone compared to here, this Beats is just a lot more advanced. It supports more codecs, LDAC, lossless codecs, aptX, and all that sort of stuff. Beats supports some, but it's nowhere near as much as the Sonys. Okay, the Sonys also have USB-C to charge them, whereas the Beats have USB micro, which I think is not very good in 2019. The Sony, well, if you look at the box, they have a up to 30-hour battery life in the noise cancelling mode. Okay, whereas the Beats, it's, I think, 22. Let's have a look. It's somewhere on here. Oh, there it is at the top. 22-hour battery life. So if you want bigger battery, go for the Sony straight away. Sony's are thicker as well. The cups are a lot thicker than the Beats, as you can see. The Sony has NFC as well. And I think the Beats does not have NFC support. So NFC is when you just touch your phone onto the device, and it automatically knows it's a Bluetooth device, and it pairs straight away basically. So I believe the Beats doesn't have NFC. The Sony's pads are a little bit more plush. It feels more high quality, this headphone, in the hand. The band is thicker. This is very nice. It feels like you could easily rip it though, so be very careful with it. It feels like one of that sort of material. When you retract the headband, you feel that compared to this. This is more, well, this is worse quality, I can tell you that now. It doesn't feel as secure. Doesn't really matter for most people, but I'm just showing you so you can observe it. This feels a lot more stable, and it just feels nicer to operate. Okay, so I've actually tested these headphones earlier as well. These are circumaural headphones, both of them, which basically means that they're designed so your ear fits inside the cup, right? So it doesn't actually like go onto your ear, okay? So your ears are inside the cup. Now, for my ears, right, the Beats, my ears basically didn't fit inside this hole here. They're kind of like grazing the edge. So for me, it's a little bit less comfortable for a longer wear time, okay? So for other people, if you've got smaller ears, then it should be okay, just about. It's definitely on the smaller side. Okay, so back to features again. So the Sony also has an app that you download, and it's much better than that one over there. You can do a lot more things with it. You can equalize, you can adjust the noise cancellation. There's loads of different stuff. It optimizes the noise cancellation based on your environment. You know, it just seems to me like they've put a lot more effort into that app. It's definitely for more techie people. Okay, moving on. The next bit we're going to talk about is the style. The style of the headphone, that's up to you. Okay, so have a look at this. There's some like rose gold accents there. Other than that, it's pretty plain. It looks high quality enough. It looks like very conservative, but it's, you know, it looks all right. It's plastic, as pretty much you'd expect at these price ranges. This is for probably the younger individual that's probably aiming more towards a more kind of laid back look, fashionable. Okay, Beats have spent a lot of money onto their advertising and to making this trendy. Okay, so it's up to you what you prefer. Okay, me, I don't prefer any of them. It really depends on the situation. If I was going to go to the gym, for example, or I was going to go out and, you know, with friends and dress up and whatever, then maybe this. Okay, but if I was going to go day to day, go to work, you know, go traveling or something, then I think these would be a bit better for me because they just look more understated. You decide for yourself which one you prefer. So the comfort and the size of the headphones as well, I'm going to go on to next. So the size of the headphone, I mean, this is thicker, as we talked about earlier. If you look at the difference between here and here, see, there's about that much difference. So the Beats are a little bit slimmer on the head, okay, but the Sonys for me are more comfortable because my ear actually fits inside here, so there's less pressure on my ear. So that's why I prefer these ones. Also, this headband is a little bit more plush. It just feels a bit better to me, okay? but I had someone around yesterday evening who tried the Beats on, and that person could have sworn that this was more comfy for them. The only way to really figure that one out is to try it on for yourself. But I think probably for most people, that one is going to be more comfortable longer term. Okay, if you look at other reviews on YouTube and the internet, it probably is going to support that as well. This headband I didn't really like because, one, it's not very plush. It's like there's barely anything in there. Okay, but this material, right, this kind of rubberized material snags at my hair. Okay, and when I was trying to adjust the headphone, I was finding it quite uncomfortable sometimes. It was just snagging my hair and didn't really like it. This one here is a lot softer, and you can adjust the headphone on your head without it causing discomfort if you have longer hair. Okay, so right, so that's the comfort, and yeah, the next thing is the price as well. So these are about the same price. This one here, this is the Skyline edition. Okay, midnight black in color, and this was £269 from Amazon. And the Sonys were about $270 as well, probably $273, I think. So they're around the same price bracket. Okay, so if you're hunting for a pair of headphones and that's what you want to spend, you're going to be looking at these. You're going to be looking at these, and you're probably going to be looking at one of the options by Bose as well, the QC35 Mark IIs, and there's a new one coming out, the 700s, noise cancelling 700s. Okay, but they're not out just yet in this country anyway, from what I can see. So the next thing that I'm going to go on to is the sound. Okay, so the sound is probably the most important part of the headphone, probably why you're paying around £300 for the headphones. And I'm going to do a live sound test now so you can see what I think. Okay, so I'm back now, and I have the Beats here and the Sonys here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 7 songs, okay, from different genres. And yeah, basically I'm going to test each headphone. I'm not going to use the noise cancelling mode because I just feel that you only need to really use that in a loud setting. It's not very loud at the moment, so you know, it's probably better for, you know, audio quality wise to test it without. Okay, so the first song I'm going to test is a hip hop song. It's called Click by Kanye West and Jay-Z. So I'm going to test the Beats headphones first. I'm going to play it for about 20-30 seconds, and then after that I'm going to tell you what I think of these headphones. Okay, and now I'm going to test the Sonys and then do a comparison. Okay, so that's that test done. So what I wrote down was Sony, clearer vocals, lower noise floor. Okay, so when I put those on, I made sure I did turn noise cancelling off as well. So it just sounds like the signal is up here and the noise is all the way down there, if you get what I mean. So it sounds like it's got a higher signal to noise ratio. The Beats I can kind of hear, even when the sound is off, there's something, it's not like dead silence. Okay, so you want a lower noise floor in audio. Okay, so it's kind of like you're just listening to the music only, just the signal and nothing else. Okay, so Sony had a wider sound stage, so it sounded a little bit more like, you know, the music's coming like a bit more, basically a bit wider, you know, a bit further away. Okay, the Beats were kind of all like boxed in, and you're just hearing the overall sound. Okay, Sony had brighter treble as well. Is it uncomfortable? I would say on that song it wasn't uncomfortable, the treble. It wasn't too bright. It was verging on it though. Okay, the Beats treble is tapered off, definitely. Okay, some people would prefer that. The Beats sounded more relaxed than the Sonys. Okay, and with the Sonys, also the bass is a little bit bigger, if you can believe it, seeing as it's Beats. But it's the sub bass particularly, so it's the very lowest frequencies, like below 40 hertz. You can definitely hear there's more fullness to that bass. Okay, so yeah, overall I would say the Sony was better. Okay, in terms of hi-fi sound. Okay, so all these attributes. However, the sound signature itself of the Sonys, personally, I can already tell I'm not gonna really like it very much. It's good, but that treble was a little bit too spiky for me. Okay, I like a bit more of a relaxed sounding headphone where the treble kind of tapers off. Because you think about it, the headphones are like right on your ears. They're like, the treble is going from here to here. Okay, so if that treble was a little bit too much, for some people who are treble sensitive, it's no good. Okay, you'll find that over time your ears get a bit fatigued and that overall sound isn't very nice for a longer period of time. Okay, but yeah, so the next track is a 90s track. It's called Blue by Eiffel 65. I'm going to go back to the Beats and I'm going to test those. Okay, so I've listened to both of them now, and basically the same thing as last time. Clearer vocals. The biggest thing I noticed was at the beginning of the song, there's a sub bass bit at the beginning, and the Sonys, you could just hear that sub bass a lot more than you could the Beats. Okay, so for me, I think the Sonys were technically better, but again, I think the soundstage of, sorry, not the soundstage, the sound signature of these is a little bit more to my taste. It sounds a bit more balanced to me. Okay, B for balanced. Okay, okay, so yeah, this is already looking to be like more of like a hi-fi headphone, high fidelity. But I know the sound signature won't be for most people. Well, a lot of people, not most people, but a lot of people. Okay, so the next one, I'm gonna go to UK Grime. Song is called German Whip by Meridian Dan. Going back to the Beats. Okay, so on this song, these sound like the bass is definitely coming out because it is a bassy track. These headphones, okay, they do have bass when it's called upon by the music. Okay, so I was beginning to think that maybe they don't sound very bassy, but they definitely do have the potential to play those lower frequencies whenever it's called on by the music. So now I'm going to go to the Sonys, switch over. Okay, that's all I need to hear of this headphone. So first of all, first reaction was too much treble. It's way overpowered, the treble. And I don't think, see, it could be that it's either one, too energetic a headphone, and the second thing it could be is that maybe the people that made the song didn't do a very good job of the recording, and the Sony is just exposing that. So that's actually a very common thing among hi-fi products like speakers and headphones. Sometimes the higher quality it is, the more you hear and the more faults you hear in the music. So it's going against why you're paying all the extra money. Okay, this was far more enjoyable to listen to on a sound signature perspective. again, I'm saying the same stuff. So I had to turn the Sonys down because the treble was too much for me. Right, next one is, the next song is an 80s song, okay? So this is probably going to sound a little bit different now because back in the 80s they used different ways to record music than they do today. Vastly different, okay? So it's a Lionel Richie song, Running with the Night, and I'm going to start with the beats again. Okay, so instant thing I've noticed, treble now sounds better on the Sony. Okay, I think it's probably because of the genre, okay, and the fact that they were recorded differently back then. Also, the bass sounds more prominent on the beats, okay, so I think what it is, the beats have bigger mid bass, okay, whereas Sony have a spike in the sub bass, okay. These didn't sound that bassy at all in this song. Okay, so the next track is an 80s song. It's Dire Straits, Money for Nothing. Okay, so in this song, this is why you buy this headphone, okay? So Dire Straits, Money for Nothing is a instrumental. There's lots of instruments, okay? So, you know, there's kick drums, there's electric guitars, the guy on the vocals, it's live recorded, okay? So, or pretty much. And like, this is where you appreciate the wider sound stage, the higher fidelity in the instruments, because you can really hear the kick drum is a kick drum, it's not something synthesized, you can hear it, okay? Whereas this is lower fidelity, okay? It's not hi-fi, definitely not, okay? But this is kind of getting there, okay? This is on just borderline, okay? So the Sonys were definitely better on that track, 100%. Yeah, no question about it. So I'm gonna go on to the next track now. It's another Dire Straits song from the 80s, but there's less, you know, drums and all that sort of stuff. This is focused on the saxophone specifically. It's called Your Latest Trick, okay? So I'm gonna start on the beats again. Okay, so first impression I got from that track was the saxophone. It was definitely clearer, but it sounded more nasally to me, okay? So it had, the treble was there, but it didn't sound convincing from my perspective. These beats were more smooth, okay? There was a more of a buttery smoothness to them. Of course, like, the fidelity of the sound wasn't there, like the Sonys, but to me, they just sound more enjoyable to listen to, okay, from a comfort perspective. If you want to sit there analyzing it, then maybe the Sonys are better for this song, but for me, this had the kind of mellow tone that I'm looking for in a pair of headphones. The vocals, again, were clearer on the Sonys, definitely. Again, wider soundstage, it sounds like you're a little bit more at the concert. Final song, I'm gonna switch genres again. I'm gonna go to metal, again, recorded in the 80s, I believe, Paranoid by Black Sabbath. And then after that, I'm gonna give my verdict on the headphones. Okay, so with that song there, pretty much the same as before. The vocals were more prominent. It sounded a little bit nasally, okay, teeny bit. But I preferred the Sonys on this, okay, even the sound signature as well, because for metal, you want that bit more energetic sound. You can't be sitting there listening to mellow metal, right? This is an energetic genre, okay, and those headphones sound better for me on that genre. The trebles weren't out of, you know, they weren't going crazy, again, because it was probably recorded better. Where the Beats, they were low fidelity, but again, consistent. Okay, it was that consistent sound that I've heard throughout the whole of these songs. So my verdict on this, which one would I buy based on sound quality? None of them, to be honest with you. So this one here, sound signature, I like the sound signature, but it's low fidelity, okay? It's not very good quality, basically. Okay, the sound stage isn't there. That's about it. I mean, the sound stage isn't there, and the detail and the separation in the music isn't there. The Sonys have that, but I don't like the sound signature. Now, some people would say, oh, you can just equalize it, but I don't really like equalizing music, okay, because it interferes with the signal. I know I'm listening to it over Bluetooth, but I still don't really enjoy doing that. So based on sound quality alone, I don't think I'd buy any of those two. If I had to pick one on sound quality, the thing is with the Beats, if they were cheaper, if they were like 70, 80 quid cheaper, I would prefer the Beats. But because I know very clearly that even though I enjoy the sound signature more, the fidelity isn't there, so I'd probably buy the Sonys if I had to. If you twisted my arm, I'd go for the Sonys. But maybe again I wouldn't, because I don't really enjoy the sound from the Sonys. It's a good sound, but it's not the sound I like, okay? It's a very personal thing. If you like a warm, buttery sort of sound, then the Sonys, no, you don't want it. It's more energetic. Like I said, it suits metal. It doesn't really suit some other genres, okay? For 80s music, the Sony was very good, okay? For the live recorded music, the Sony was good, okay? So yeah, that's basically what I think about the sound. The next part of the review, I know this is going on for long, but I want to do a very good job of it. So and also just to let you know how I've done this test. So I've used Spotify because that's what I think most people use. I've turned the settings on Spotify to maximum quality streaming, okay? So yeah, I don't think there's any point in me trying to use LDAC and all these advanced codecs and switching to Tidal and all this stuff, because I don't think most people are actually going to use the headphones that way. So what's the point? The next part of the test is the noise cancellation part, okay? So who's going to win on the noise cancellation aspect? Okay, so I'm back for the next part of my test of the Sony WH-1000 and the Beat Studio 3. So yeah, this is basically what I'm going to do. This is the noise cancelling test that I'm about to do. And I've got my speakers here and subwoofers. Okay, and I'm going to play some airplane cabin noises at about 75 decibels to recreate what it would be like sitting in a plane. So I'm just going to start with the Beats first. I'm not going to play any music while I'm doing this. I'm just going to put it on silent and then just test the noise cancelling. Okay. So here we go with the airplane sounds. Okay, so what I found with that is that the Beats, they're cancelling out majority of the bass frequencies, but when I first put them on, I didn't even realize the noise cancelling was active. So I don't think they're very good at doing that job. I can tell already. The treble is kind of basically still there. Mid-range is probably about halved, I would say, but the bass has kind of been, yeah, the bass has probably been halved as well. Okay, so there's still a lot of sound remaining. So I'm now going to switch to the Sonys. Okay, so the Sonys are the clear winner when it comes to noise cancelling. I would say most of the bass frequency is gone. About 70%, 80% of the mid-range is gone, and about half of the treble is gone. So that will give you some perspective about like how good the Sonys are compared to the Beats. Okay, so if you want noise cancelling, and that's a very important thing to you, don't get the Beats, okay? The Beats did quite a good job of noise cancelling. Quite a good job, as in it's better than not having it. But as far as paying 270 quid for headphones is concerned, there's lots of other choices out there that are better at that job. Okay, so that concludes my review of these two headphones. Personally, if I were to pick one, I would go for the Sony, just because I think it's a better overall buy. You're getting a lot more for your money. With Beats, you're getting the fashion accessory as well, so you know that's of value as well, because Beats have put a lot of money into that to make it a fashionable headphone. But if you're after actual, you know, substance over style, then you're definitely going to want the Sony. The only thing with me is that I found the sound signature of the Sony not to my liking, but I have fiddled around with the equalizer settings, which I don't really like doing, but I've tapered off the treble a little bit and it does sound a lot better. And I've also notched down the sub bass by 1 dB as well, and it did improve a lot, to be honest with you. It was definitely more to my liking. So yeah, so this is a new YouTube channel, so if anyone can subscribe and, you know, do all those good things, that would help me out a lot. Anyone want to send me a message and ask any questions about these, I'd be happy to get back to you. So thanks a lot, and in my next test I'm going to be reviewing the Sennheiser Momentum 2.0s, and I'm going to see if that is better than any of these two headphones. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.